right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and ready for the finals. You see, we got some trophies in front of us already. I am Yosu here with the IeSF Finnish qualifiers finals here for the World Championships held in Azerbaijan in November. With me casting from Team Menace
is Zhuge Liang. And I want to ask the audience, are you ready for the finals? Yeah, I can't hear you.
Two of them are ready. These front two are here. They're ready. The rest, I don't know.
Yeah. One more cheer, please, for the finalists. Yeah, that's more like it.
Yeah. Cyril and Welmu, two of the top three that most people were expecting to be here. I mean, it was pretty much down to Welmu, Elfie, and Cyril. You never know, there are very good players in the Finnish scene. Yourself, Pupu, who had a chance at it. It is Cyril and Welmu here in the final, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise for too many people because these are the only two Finnish players in the WCS Premier League.
Very true.
Yeah. Carries a lot of weight these days, especially when there's so many top-tier Koreans also playing the European scene. So if you think about it, Velmo, I think, out of the foreign Protosses, out of the non-Korean Protosses, definitely top 5. And Serral definitely top 10 right now in the whole world. So this is a world-class level game we're about to witness.
And we'll see here who carries the crown for best player in Finland. I think Elfie had it, but he dropped it in the semifinals to Welmu, and now it's between Welmu and Cyril. So we're just waiting a little bit. There's some things going on the mainstream. Of course, this is also being shown live on Yle 2, the local TV station. Oh no, this one's just going out on the Arena.
Yle Arena online. Yeah.
So this is just going on the online streaming website for the Finnish national TV, which is pretty exciting. So we're waiting on their casters as well to make sure that we're all set up there. So still a couple of minutes or so as we get things set up on there and making sure everything on the TV stream, online stream, is working well. But Protoss versus Zerg here, both of these players have said they expect it to be 4-2. Neither one knows who's going to win, though. Neither is at least willing to admit that they think they're better or worse. What's your thoughts?
I think Serral recently has practiced some more. I'm not sure about if Velmo has some barcodes, but at least on the main account, Serral definitely has more practice. But Velmo is very dangerous. He has very deadly builds, and Serral's not the best at stopping them.
Yeah, I agree. Cyril has a very passive and kind of safe style that he likes, and Welmu's a little more ready to kind of make the plays. So if it's going to be 4-2, I would say Welmu takes it. That's at least going to be my prediction from here.
Yeah, I think Velmo should be the slight favorite due to his past WCS finishes, but Serral has had, especially from last year around this time onward, Serral has had a really good run. I think winning Insomnia and then winning the StarCraft II IeSF Finnish National Championship. So Serral is very good in these Finnish tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. And game one here on Overgrowth, spawning on the top right, we've got our red Protoss player, again from Team Neurosoft. Give a big shout out for Welmu. And the bottom left of the map, blue Zerg player from the Swiss team, My Insanity. Let's hear it for Cyril. All right, as a Zerg player, how do you favor Overgrowth?
I think Overgrowth is a very good map for swarm hosts, but Cyril is known for playing it, but he's not the best at it. So I think due to Velmu playing a lot of top European players like Snoot, who are very good with Swarm Host, I think there's this idea drilled that you kind of have to all in on this map because it's so hard. I'm expecting Velmu to go for a Nexus first and then go for a 7-gate blink attack. It's a very popular strategy by top European Protosses right now, so let's see how this goes.
Yeah, we do also have a very early drone scout from Cyril, and I think his goal is going to be to try to block that Nexus if he can get there in time.
This is a very smart move, anticipating Velmo's Nexus first, because it's so popular on this map.
Yeah, and he doesn't need the probe is sent out there. Quick reaction there from Cyril. You see he just barely gets up the ramp, gets vision of the probe, and he is going to be blocking that for a little bit. And he's not gonna force a gateway out of it. So Cyril is gonna, or sorry, Welmu is gonna just play this out. Sends a second probe here, and he's gonna be able to get that Nexus down. But we still have the hatch popping down for Cyril, so he's gonna get just a little bit ahead with that and keep that drone alive for a little bit longer. 1 HP now regenerating up.
Yeah, this one drone is actually quite a lot if you think about it, because this is a 10 scout. So if you think Zerg has like 10 drones, so this is 10% of the economy. If you think about it, later in the game, for example, against Terran, if like that's the equivalent of some Hellions roasting 5, 6, 7 drones, and that's at that point about 10% of your economy as well. So sacrificing this drone scout is quite a big investment, but I think it has paid off this time, as Serral is going for 3 hatch before cool, the most greediest Zerg build that there is, and is not going to be behind against this build.
Yeah, and this is pretty much what you do against Nexus First. If you get the delay in there, great. If not, well, you get the 3 hatches behind it, or 2 additional hatches. So nice to see that double expand there, and the pool does follow up now. It'll be a little bit before he gets gas, of course, since he's really got to focus on getting the drone count to match those 3 bases.
Yeah. I don't think you should go to fully 3 base saturation, because there's so many Protoss all-ins, but I think definitely around 40 drones is the minimum you want to do, unless it's because Serral already sees there's 2 gases from Velmo, and what this means is that if there's 2 gases, it can't be a super fast gateway attack. Hence, he can really safely drone to around 40 drones very easily.
Right, Wellman's definitely going to be looking to add a little more tech on behind this. He does have the 1 Zealot coming out, and we'll see if he sends it all the way to the 3rd base as a response, just to do a little bit of pressure. Looks like it's just going to hang around as natural, though.
Yeah, and Serral's trying to do some extra poke and seeing if Velmo possibly would pull probes off the gas and do some fast gateway all in, but Velmo is not doing that. And right now he's making a sentry and a forge. What this signifies is that Velmo's going to make 2 more gateways and then take a 3rd base with a bunch of sentries, some zealots, and a mothership core. It's a very popular, super solid standard Protoss opener right now.
Yeah, the Zerglings take the watchtower, just barely missed a probe, or they could have seen the probe, but it looks like Cyril wasn't quite on top of that. So the probe can just hide out on the right side of the map. Could be useful for getting down some proxy pylons later on. And as you said, we do have the 2 additional gateways here helping to wall off the wall.
Yeah, and Serral actually playing very greedy, taking 2 gases instead of a really fast gas. But also, the reason why he went for 2 gases this late is because he saw 2 gases from Velmo. Now, normally, there is a possibility why Zerg would want to go for 1 gas really fast, and that's because of a fast gateway pressure. But now, seeing Velmo's base, Serral made a really smart decision by changing up his build a bit.
Yeah, he's going to be able to take up just a little bit more. He doesn't have to worry about getting the army units out as much, and he can focus on just getting that tech out. He's got speed on the way, a couple overlords. Meanwhile, we've got +1 grounded weapons being researched by Welmu.
Yeah, this is the upgrade you want to do as Protoss because the attack upgrade just gives so much more compared to the armor or the shield. And now, after this 3-gate expand, there's actually usually one way to follow up, and the way is to add a robotics bay and a Twilight Council. And what this does, it allows you to kind of respond to anything Zerg is doing. If you're going Mutas, Protoss might just attack, and if you're going Hydras, you can take up the Colossi to defend against the Hydra attack.
Yeah, I've got Wilmu going to that 3 bases, getting the 3 additional gateways just to make a wall off over here. Hallucinated Oracle actually doing a little bit of scouting for him.
Yeah, this is actually going to be a pure gateway all-in, or a heavy pressure. And what's going to happen is once these gateways finish, Velmo's going to keep making a bit more probes, and then just go and
which
attack.
ones? I think Cyril is actually looking to make sure that attack never happens. He's got quite a few roaches that just finished producing. Link's speed is just about to finish up. He is getting a layer, so this is by no means an all-in, but he's definitely getting a lot of offensive forces to try to do something here.
Yeah, I think this is not that good for Serral unless he catches Velmo in a very good position. Because if you look at the drone count right now, Serral's only 6 or 5 more than the Protoss, and usually you want to be 10 to 20 drones more than the Protoss.
Good force fields here, trap a couple of these roaches. They do get a sentry in return. but overall Cyril is forced to back up a little bit, and these units kind of a little bit extra at this time.
Yeah, and now you can see Velmo transition in because he knows Serral has a bunch of units. The idea of Velmo's build was actually to hope that Serral would go pure drone, 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 and not make any units, and then kind of surprise him with this large gateway attack. But now he's going to transition into Robo because he knows that the possibility of some Mutalisk switch is very low.
Yeah, Photon Overcharge goes here just to get rid of the last of the Lings that were still at the third base. Most of them did leave. And Cyril behind this taking a fourth base at the gold. Not quite getting the tech from Mutos. Instead, we see a Hydralisk den. He's also starting +1 ranged weapons as well as that Roach speed.
Yeah, as I talked before, the Twilight Council and the robotics facility are both done. Well, the Robo is done, and the Twilight is building right now. And Velmo's going to start off with an Observer, and StarCraft is a game of information. And Velmo, if you look at, like right now, we can't really show his vision, but Velmo actually can't see a lot because the Zerg has map control with Zerglings right now, so he really wants to get some vision and some static vision out there to see exactly where Serral's units are moving. He's using these hallucinated phoenixes. These can see the tech of Serral, but they can't catch where the army is moving.
Yeah, he's got the Observer right now over the army, which is around his third base, a little bit off to the side, and the Observer does do a little shimmer for the opposing player, so Serral does pull back just a little bit more.
Yeah, and Velmo's actually going to really heavy economy, and this is already 70 probes, and usually you don't see Protoss go into this high probe count without having some higher tech, which in this case could be Colossi, could be High Templars, or could be Void Ray. This is a pure Blinkstalker, Sentry Immortal composition, but with a lot of economy. So I think maybe Velmo has some nerves right now going into this final, so he's not really making the crispiest decisions. And looking at Velmo's tech right now, it's pretty much going to be attacked by him.
Yeah, a nice attack here at the third base. Velmo's forces do recall in. Just the gateway goes, it's 7 probes as well as that 1 cannon. So the Lings do a little bit of damage there, and the Roaches just eliminate one of the cannons, forces Velmo to rebuild a little bit over there. But yeah, it's going to be Locusts out of Cyril. He's got the Enduring Locust upgrade, so the Locust spawn time is almost indefinite. And then he's got 6 Locusts and the Hive on the way. We do have the Robotics away, as well as a Dark Shrine here from Velmo.
Yeah, on this map, the reason why Swarm Hosts are so good, you're going to see in a second. First of all, you can already see that Cyril has pretty nice creep spread. So that immediately makes Swarm Hosts so powerful because creep and Locust work in tangent. The creep gives vision, and then the Locusts kind of keep that vision. So eventually, Locusts are going to pick off the Protoss units here and there, and after, a long time, Zerg is going to end up ahead. And now Velmo seems to be in quite a bit of a panic mode, not knowing what to do, so putting down a Dark Shrine and making Colossi. I'm not sure if this is the best decision right now. I think putting down some Stargates would definitely be the safest option. And he's also doing a drop to the main base, which is the best way to deal with Swarm Host play, as this is going to force Cyril back with his main army.
Yeah, we can see a nice warp in. I was about to say that Velmo is spending a lot of his gas on Stalkers and other units in his main army, so now being able to warp in the Zealots here, do a little bit of harass, at least keep the army out of position. Also just getting a little bit of that scouting, sees that the Hive is now done. A couple additional Swarm Hosts are still on the way. The Zealot harass is slowly getting cleaned up here, and it's actually not doing any damage really with the Lings. Main army is being forced back by those Locusts, and we do have a good number of Swarm Hosts here. Tenna currently sending out their Locusts towards the kind of middle of the map, not quite all the way to the Watchtower. Locusts could, of course, take the vision there.
Yeah. As Protoss, there's really 2 main ways you can deal with the Swarm Host play. One is this kind of style where you put down a lot of Stargates and get air units, because at the end of the day, Swarm Hosts don't shoot air, and if you get a big enough air armada, you can eventually overpower the Zerg, because Zerg has to invest a certain amount of supply in the Swarm Host, so the supply left to deal with the air army is not going to be as significant. And the second style, as you can see right now, Velmo's doing this multi-farm harass, which is really, really great, taking down a base and taking down queens. And I think, looking at what the direction Velmo's going in, he's going to keep harassing, he's going to keep trying to make a big ground army, and he's going to try to break this Swarm Host play instead of going for that air composition.
Yeah, we just had 20 drones die in the past little harass right there. It's currently 75 to 67, so Welmo in the worker lead. He's also taking the 4th base, not grabbing the gold, but he's taking the one over on the left side. He's also got Zealots coming into the gold base, so unfortunately they're going to just be focused down by the Locusts, so not much done there. Dark Templar was there as well, but the Overseer handled that. And Army Supplies just about even. Cyril just got a production in. So it's maxed out to 186, so pretty close. And again, the worker count 72 to 75, relatively close as well. Again, that gold base does add for Cyril a little bit.
Yeah. I think Cyril needs to deal with this Warp Prism in his base because this allows Velmo to walk around, to poke, and to deal damage with his main army, if possible. And it's so important to keep that creep as a Swarm Host player, because without the creep, you don't know where to position your Swarm Host. And what can happen is the Protoss army just walks into your main base, kills it, and then recalls back home, and suddenly you're down a base. So Cyril has left 2 Hydralisks to his main base, but I don't think that's enough. I think Cyril needs to invest more into anticipating Velmo's harasses.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get this pylon on the right here. He's got units at least in vision of it. He's just not attacking it quite yet. There we go. But he was taking a little bit of harass from that at his gold base. Locusts have been dealing with that fairly well so far. And again, good job here with the hallucinated phoenixes, just spotting where the army is. You see the Locusts coming out and heading towards pretty much the natural of Welmo over here. He's got the Sentry Colossus part of his army over here. A couple High Templars in there as well. Harder Templar being warped in. Locusts aren't going to make it that far, but the Stalker portion of his army is coming around the other side. He's on a little bit of move now. Good blink. Gets a couple of these roaches. Going to get those Hydras and possibly the Overseers as well. And sniping the Overseer is nice for him since he does have that Dark Shrine available, and he has been using Dark Templar for a little bit of harass, another aggressive blink forward. And now he's going to be in the Locust range just as they spawn. He will be able to blink out of there shortly, though.
Yeah, that was a very good move by Velmo, but in a way kind of cute. And in StarCraft, what cute really means is that it's a nice move, but it really didn't have a major change to the overall game. So I don't think this is going to change the overall kind of game scenario where Cyril, I think, at this point does have a lead, because the position of this Swarm Host is very good, as it allows Cyril to constantly deny the gold base of Velmo. And with Swarm Host, we're looking at a very long game where Zerg eventually mines out all of his money, and if Protoss doesn't mine out all of his side of the map all the money on his side of the map, he's gonna obviously lose.
Yeah, Cyril is essentially just trading free units to keep Welmo busy, and he's got those 2 big clump of Swarm Hosts heading in different directions. He's going to have to move them forward just a little bit. He's also adding a lot of Spore Crawlers, because as you said earlier, air is really the way to deal with this, and also it will just provide detection for those Dark Templar in case they just get caught in a weird position.
Yeah, and I think at this point, because Velmo has no Stargates and is just putting on more gateways, a really dangerous thing that Cyril could do is do a Mutalisk switch. And with this many gas in the bank, a Mutalisk switch can be really deadly in a base trade scenario.
Yeah, he's already got the 2nd Spire on the way. He's got +2 Flyer upgrades in route as well. And other upgrades, he's got the Adrenaline Glands for those Lings, makes him a little bit more effective. +3 missile attacks is really going to affect those Locusts. And then he's also getting melee attacks.
Yeah, I think Velmo's big weakness at this point of the game is he really does not want to play the air army, hence this kind of in this awkward position where he tries to pod around, but he's constantly losing units. And let's see if he can break through here, because it's so important from Velmo's perspective right now to break through and just kill Cyril as fast as possible.
Yeah, a little bit of harassment for the Zealots in the natural, but it looks like the main army is going for the natural as well, and the Locusts are kind of out of position. Now they're coming back in, but this is an area that could be force-fielded or at least stormed pretty nicely.
Yeah, I think Cyril's making a bit of a mistake right now, making more Corruptors. But on the other hand, he doesn't have many to begin with. In this situation, ideally what you want to do is you want to clear the Colossi and actually remax on Hydralisks, because the only thing that really is really effective against Hydralisk is Colossi. So as long as you take them out and remax on Hydras, you've pretty much got the game in your pocket, because again, Velmo only has a lot of gateways, and Hydra's Locust is really good against gateway units.
Yeah, Wilma not force fielding here. He's letting the Locust get pretty close. Corruptor's coming in now as well. They're going to be able to handle the Colossi there. Good Corruption going down as well. Going to take crit of all of those. We got the Stalker still doing a lot of damage around the Natural. Natural has not fallen just yet, but it will go down shortly. 35 drones have been lost here as well, but again, this isn't necessarily something that changes the landscape of the game. Even the Spires there not going to get focused down, and +2 missile or flyer attack does finish. Welbo's got one Stargate on the way for now. That second Spire, actually there's a third Spire finishing up just as a backup for Serral. The main base is going to take some damage. It's going to go down as well. And Serral kind of just camping out in the middle of the map with his units, not really putting pressure anywhere. He does have the Locust going towards the Natural, but he's not really countering this really well.
Yeah, and this is why you need to remax with Roach Hydra, because with Lins, he hasn't upgraded his Lins at this point, so his Lins are not going to do very well against the upgraded Protoss ground army.
Oh, little misclick on that force field does let the Locust into the main base, but
I think at the end of the day, the attack that Velmo did earlier has been worth it, because he's killed 2 bases, and with that he also killed the 3rd base with a Zealot harass, because Serral had to focus all of his attention to defend that main attack, so he got it. Yeah, so 3 bases down for Velmo, looking very good for him.
Yeah, these Zealots also force the Locust back, so the Locusts aren't a threat there. Behind this, Wilma's also been able to establish a gold base. He doesn't have the gases going. He doesn't quite have the best, pretty much, was it concentration there? He doesn't have the best economy going at that base yet. And he also doesn't have anything other than Blink to get these units out of here. Lost a Mothership Core.
Yeah, but still, if you look at the supply, it's 173 to 141, and Serral is not mining that much at all. So I think what Velmo is doing right now is just sending units to snipe off Serral's income and production. So as long as those fall, Serral has to go all in, and when Serral's going all in, as long as Velmo defends, he wins. I think this is a very well-forced checkmate solution by Velmo.
Yeah, he gets a nice snipe with the Dark Templar, take out the rebuilt layer.
I think at this point, Serral's just thinking about the next game or thinking about what went wrong this game, because it's pretty clear to both players that the game is over right now.
Yeah, he still hasn't spotted that gold base, and he's lost his own gold base being remade. That's it, GG. So well played there by Welmo, taking game number 1. I wouldn't really say a convincing fashion, at least. The game looked pretty even early on, and I would say even Serral looked really good, maybe in the lead early on. Then
yeah.
Welmo, though, just...
I think in the beginning, when he was transitioning to Swarm Host, Welmo was only on 3 base, and Serral had already secured his 4th gold base. So if you think about, normally when the casters talk about Zerg bases versus Protoss bases, you have to be one ahead as Zerg. But when you're playing Swarm Host, it's actually okay to be on even bases. And if you're playing Swarm Host and you're 1 base ahead of the Protoss, that's like very, very good. Yeah. So Velmo was kind of in a desperation place, and he engineered this very good comeback.
Yeah, the big problem with Swarm Hosts oftentimes is their mobility, and I think there's 2 things that Serral kind of failed to do there. One is he wasn't pressing, he wasn't engaging enough, so he wasn't actually attacking with his units. So the Swarm Hosts were coming in, but they weren't actually getting to the Protoss base or getting close enough to really require Welmo to do anything about it.
Yeah, actually, offensive Swarm Host, that's more of a Korean sulky style of Swarm Host. I think with the lead that Serral had at that point, he could have tried something like that. But instead, he opted for this European style, where he want to cover the map with as much creep as possible. And he ended up not being able to pull it off because Velmo's harass was very good.
Yeah, and then Welmo was just able to go around, circumvent the Swarm Hosts, get into the base, pretty much kill a lot of the tech, most of the tech, and also with his harass on the sides too, kill almost all the mining bases, and then finish it off with DTs as well. So very well played, good multitasking, and just multi-aggression from Welmo there. Next game's on Foxtrot Labs. What's your experience with that map?
This map was recently changed. It was originally a 4-spawn position, but then Blizzard realized that on the close spawns it's pretty much impossible for Zerg, so they had to change it, and now it's only diagonal spawn. So what that means, it's either it's one of the cross spawns, and let's see what it's going to be.
All right, we do have bottom left and top right.
Yeah, I think these positions are slightly better for Serral. because the third is in the open, and what this means is if Protoss tries some kind of two-base all-in, it's really easy to set up a nice concave with your roaches or hydras. So let's see if Velmo will try any all-in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wellman's spawning on the top right position. He is the red Protoss player. He's playing for the, I believe it's Romanian team, NRS Neurosoft. His opponent in the bottom left from the Swiss team, My Insanity, our blue Zerg player, Cyril. Well, again, 1-0. It is a best of 7, so one is we don't have any map vetoes. It's just a matter of what order we play the maps in, and if we do get to the 5th map or further, and then, of course, 4 games to win.
Exactly, and a fun fact for all of you who did not visit the player area, both of these players are sponsored by Logitech, so they're using the exact same gear, the exact same keyboard and mouse. So there's no excuse if one of them loses.
I didn't actually know that, but yeah, that is interesting. I saw that I saw Wilma's keyboard at least, but I didn't see that Cyril had the same one. Well, interesting to know. It does look like Cyril's going for a hatch first here.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a good bet, a good gamble now, because Velmo is going for that gateway first. It's very difficult for Protoss to go for Forge first on this map because of the wide area it has to cover. So going gateway first or going Nexus first is most likely. And Zedel, knowing this, went for a hatch first.
Yeah, this map's also interesting here. With the different rocks, it'll provide attack paths into the natural, as well as then either opening up a third base on the right or the left, depending on where you're spawning.
Yeah, and now it's always really important to look at the gases of Protoss, because most of the good units that Protoss can make are dependent on your gas. So, for example, if you want to go for a Immortal Sentry all-in, it's really good to take all the gases as fast as possible and make a lot of sentries. But then if you're going for something like a Blink all-in, you want to go with 2 or 3, and that's the most optimal because you hit at the very fast time, but still with a lot of gateways and a lot of stalkers. Yeah, looks like my PC is frozen, so.
Okay, well, we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't work, doesn't crash there. Well, anyway, we'll have just a little bit of pause right here. Wellwood does have just 4 of the gases, 2 and 2 on there right now.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, you can't actually put 3 and 3 in as Protoss.
Yeah.
Yeah, should I leave? Yeah.
All right, we'll see if that fixes it.
Oh, it's still lagging, so.
That's pretty bad when that doesn't fix it either.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if any one of you watch GSL, but there's this caster called Tasteless. And every time something like this happens, he's talking about how technology is the vehicle of esports. And sometimes in sports you have rain and bad weather, and I mean a frozen computer is similar to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Frozen computer, network issue, anything like that. So we do have a slight pause, and we'll just have to share this one monitor to continue from here. It shouldn't be too bad, but we are continuing the game now.
Yeah. So exactly back with the gases. Oh, actually, Settle making a little mistake due to being nervous.
Yeah, a little misclick right there. He is getting his gas, but that's not going to do too much. Just takes his mining. Probably lost about maybe 100 minerals right there, which is a big deal, but
maybe a little less than 100, but still doing that means that you're nervous, and like sometimes a player can go tilt after making such an irrelevant mistake that he absolutely would never do in practice.
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider. Meanwhile, Welmu's moving out of probe. Looks like he will be taking his expansion now after he's got his first stalker on the way.
Yeah, I think I was talking about this Blink all-in, which is very popular right now for Overgrowth. But on this map, it's also very good because with Blink all-in, you really want to move across the map really fast. And I don't think this map is that good for Protoss late game, because if Settle does opt for Swarm Host again, if he parks the Swarm Host in the middle of the map, it reaches the third base of Velmu very easily. So as we can see, Velmu has put down the Twilight Council, and I'm expecting this to be a 6 or 7 gate Blink all-in with 2 to 3 gas geysers.
Yeah, I think here, especially with some of the positioning, again, with the different rocks, different angles to get into that natural, that could be very useful. Or then, of course, with the third base, if Cyril opts for this third base, that also means that he could force field pretty easily up here, take out the third base, and then continue with blinks.
Yeah. Usually it's very unlikely for Zerg to take that as the third base unless the Zerg wants to mind game the Protoss in one way or another. So because Velmu's gonna know that the third base of Serral is gonna be at the open one, he's probably just gonna want to rush to that as fast as possible with as many Stalkers as possible.
Yeah, and even with other bases as well, the ramps are relatively thin. So either way, Welmu could have a pretty good luck with some kind of blink all in. He's got a couple more gateways just for the wall off for now.
And actually Velmu's gonna opt for the Dark Shrine. Now, Serral did spot the Twilight Council, so I think a caliber of Serral, like when he sees the units of Velmu, and he's gonna spot, how many Stalkers are there gonna be, and if there aren't gonna be a lot of Stalkers, he's gonna sniff out that this is gonna be DTs.
Yeah, usually if you're going to go blink, you need a lot of stalkers to make it useful, to make it worthwhile. And yeah, if you don't have that stalker count, you're building something else with it. So yeah, Dark Shrine is on the way. We do have the layer as well as Roach Horn on the way from Cyril.
Yeah, Serral is drawn into 41. Now, normally if this is a blink all-in, you would want to stop it at around this because it actually hits that fast. Now, because it's a DT, the best thing Serral can do is drone as much as possible, get speedlings out, get a few roaches out, get the overseer, and have those spore crawlers in every base. Now, Serral's the way he's doing it now is he has one spore at the entrance. Now, when the DTs walk in, he wants to catch them. That's what he's gambling on right now, and most likely they are gonna walk through that entrance. So it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, DT is getting warped in here on the right side of the map. Nice pylon placement there by Welmu. So the DT is just going to come in, and they probably will come all the way around. Again, the Spore Crawler now more close to the third base, but it does provide vision, I believe, all the way to the ramp. The question is, do the DTs get in? See, he's going to just barely, kind of sees them for half a second. He knows they're there. Overseer's done, though, so he's going to be able to get a surround on them, and the Lings will be able to deal with them pretty quickly. Recall doesn't manage to save any of the DTs.
Yeah,
either.
losing 3 DTs at this point of the game is very, very painful. Now, there's really very little ways Velmo can actually make a comeback due to the architecture of this map. It's a very open map, and Settle's already on the Roach Hydra tech path. Now, as long as Settle just keeps making them, getting maximum saturation on 3 bases and just maxes out with Roach Hydra, or keeps making them until Velmo tries to get a third or then attacks him, he should be able to secure this game.
All right, Cyril also going to his 6 gases here. He's got those 3 bases. He was on 3, now he's doubling his gas income very shortly. Anyway, we got gateways and a robotics with immortals on the way. I think, Welma's going to try to take this third base. He's got a little bit of establishment, and it looks like Cyril doesn't want to press that third base just yet. Waiting for the Lings at least to get there.
Yeah. One small mistake that Settle has made at this point is he has forgotten his evolution chambers. That means he does not have his upgrades going on right. Just as I say it, he adds his Evo chambers and is going to go for that +1 range attack.
Yeah, Cyril was able to force a cancel, but Welmo now rebuilding. Welmo, though, speaking of those upgrades, he's already starting his +2 weapons, so it's going to help out a lot, especially with those beefy units like the Immortals. He's got a Warp Prism coming after this as well, so I'm not sure if he's actually supply blocked a little bit, so that's going to take a little while. He's only got the 2 Immortals here. I'm not sure if he's planning on doing some kind of Sentry Immortal or if this is mostly just for defense.
I think what Velmo is thinking right now is earlier when he lost those 3 DTs, it was an Overseer that catched them. So the probability of Settle actually also having Spore Crawlers is very low. So if he can sneak that Warp Prism into Settle's bases and warp those DTs, it could be a good comeback move. Sometimes if you want to try something like DTs, if it doesn't work the first time, you might as well try a second time.
Yeah, definitely could be. He's got the army here. We got a little bit of lag here and there as well. Warp Prism heading out the left side of the map. It's going to spot this 4th base of Cyril's. And Welmo once again is just continuing his Immortal production. He's got a couple DTs coming in.
Yeah, usually what you want to do with Protoss is first warp the DTs in and then drop them, because warping them right there can give some extra time for the Zerg player to react. And also, sometimes Zerg players can leave Hydralisks at the edge of the base. So what this does is they have the capability of sniping the Warp Prism. Warping the DT first also gives Velmut the capability to drop that DT in, kill the Hydras, and then warp in more units.
Yeah, he's going to do that right now. Actually, not warp in. Just drops the one DT in the main base. If nothing else is given him a scout, he sees the hive timing right there. Lings, though, are going to be able to deal with this. There is an Overseer. Actually, Overseer not moving, so just now getting after it, and the Lings will be able to finish it off.
Yeah, I think Settle at this point, knowing that this War Prism is out there and knowing that he does not have a unit that could just fly there and kill it, the safe thing is to add static defense, as he is doing right now. A few spines, and of course he has those Overseers, which give him detection, so that's good. Very solid play right now.
Yeah, Cyril getting that fourth base established and again protected. We got +3 and Blink now on the way from Welmo. He's gotten his third base up and running. He's also got a decent force here, Stalkers, Immortals, and Sentries. So pretty gas-heavy composition. Only a single Zealot there and no charge for the Zealots either. We do have the Spire now on the way, so Viper's also getting some extra energy here. But the Spire on the way, so that always dreaded Mutalisk switch will be a possibility.
Yeah, this is a style that actually Settle invented, going Roach Hydra Viper and then transitioning into Mutalisks, because it's really smart, because usually when Protoss is fighting this Roach Hydra Viper army, they're kind of thinking, okay, I have to crush this army, and like Mutalisks are not at the back of their mind. And actually, I think you just missed it. Settle used a Viper to pick off that War Prism that dropped that DT. Yeah, so now it's gone. So that's very good by Settle, because if and when he moves out, he does not want any counter harass to be happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Picking off that Warp Prism does help a lot. He's going to have to cancel, actually loses that hatch, taking down the rocks as well, so that he's got easier reinforcement path to this eventual fifth base.
Yeah. I think Veilmo knows that if he goes for Colossi right now, there's no way he can also afford High Templars, which means when the Vipers hit, it's going to be GG. So instead he's opted for this more non-splash damage-based army with a lot of sentries. So what he wants to do right now is cut off Settle's army really well and not let him get a good concave.
Yeah, Immortals get pulled in. Good job there by Cyril, and also a couple hallucinated Colossi just to try to bait those pulls. Force field's pretty good, pull up half the army, but now they're just actually eliminating the ability for Welmu to try to re-engage. So Cyril just pulls back, re-maxes 16 more roaches. He's also got +2 just about to finish, so he actually attacked a little early, and he's also still prepping that Mutalisk switch. He's getting flyer attacks, and meanwhile we've got Welmu getting a storm research, and he's just about to finish charge. He's a long way off, though, before he's able to take a fourth base, probably actually take it over here. We'll see which way he would decide to go.
I think at this point, Velmo is not actually thinking about taking a fourth base. Instead, he's really hoping for Settle to attack into a bad position, winning that fight, and then counterattacking and taking the game. So really preying on a mistake of Settle. And the reason why DT is a sneaky move, considered as a sneaky move, is because of a scenario like this, where if Settle transitions into Mutalisks, there's no real no real way for Velmo to really deal with it except with a huge attack. With a single Stargate even, you can pump out some Phoenixes and maybe play a longer game.
A little misstep by Welmu, not having vision of his rocks. They get taken down, and this army is now inside Welmu's base. It depowers a Robo Bay. It's going to depower a couple of gateways as well, and Welmu actually has to kill one of his gateways so he can get in here fast enough and try to deal with this. Decent storms landing on the Hydralisks, and Welmu actually getting a decent battle, but we do have good blinding clouds as well, forcing Welmu to engage a little bit closer. High Templar now being morphed into Archons as well, and a lot of probes going down in this natural base. 14-17 now taken out. Blink forward will take out the rest of the forces here, but there's also a little bit of aggression here at the fifth base, and that's taken a lot of damage. It's almost finished as well. Roach is just circling around, and this will have to be canceled. There we go. Great play there by Cyril just to delay that base for a little while.
Yeah, that was awesome micromanagement by Cyril. Now Cyril's going to be going for a Mutalisk switch, and when Velmo sees these Mutalisks, he has to make a decision, and a very crisp one.
Yeah,
So
he's going up to 40 Mutalisks, by the way.
yeah, this is definitely gonna probably end up in a base trade scenario with a huge advantage for Serral, as he has so much minerals in his bank and so much creep, so much vision. So Serral has tight control of this game right now.
Yeah, he's got so many bases right now, so it's going to take a long time to try to kill them.
So, like, if you just look at the mini map, it's just so much blue, and it all goes back to Velmo trying that DT rush and it not working. So we really see like the way how beautiful this StarCraft game is, where such a small loss in the beginning kind of translates to such a huge advantage in the end. And this does look very dire for Velmo.
Yeah, good feedbacks on the Vipers does prevent them from adding additional blinding clouds. Gets a decent storm there on some of the units as well. Mutacloud is in the yellow. However, they are able to get away from this army even with the blinks. Archon's trying to chase as well. That splash damage so vital for this engagement.
Yeah, the micro that Citadel is pulling off is very good, because, for example, when I play this style, I'm just going to go for the base trade. I don't even try to kill any units off of the Protoss army, because there's the possibility of getting hit by Archons or getting stormed.
Yeah, and Welmu once again forced to kill one of his gateways. Artosis Pylon right there depowers 4 or 5 additional gateways, and Cyril just able to go right around now into third base. Couple High Templar trying to warp in. They get eliminated right away. Pylon's going down, and this base is going to take a little bit of damage. The reinforcements are going to get there, but the natural is going to, or main base is going to be open back up. Good storm right there, but it's not going to do enough. These Mutas are just going to go right back into the main base. And Welmu now is going to try to do a counterattack and force a base trade, but he's already lost so many pylons. He's lost the ability to kind of reinforce a little bit there, and he's down in army and money supply.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate on the fact that in the beginning it was a DT rush and it failed, and because of that he doesn't have any Stargates, and the fact that he has no Stargates means he cannot make Phoenixes the correct counter to the Mutalisks. So he has to go for this attack sooner or later. Now Velmo chose later, and it's looking very dire for him. Zero's just going to pluck spines all over the map and slowly pick off all the buildings of Velmo with his Mutalisks. I think, yeah.
He's also adding additional Spire here at the top left base just so that he can continue Mutalisk production after his base does get ransacked. So he's going to have that going for him. He's also pulling all his drones, or at least half of them, really early to one of the bottom right base. So he's going to have bases all over the map, really going to force the Protoss to spread his units out. And we do have good harass here in different places, just the Zealots, Dark Templar, just doing as much damage all over the place as they can. The main clump of the army is staying together, but these Mutalisks just all over the map are absolutely destroying Welmu's bases.
Yeah, and like if I were Velmo right now, I would be thinking, why did I try this DT rush? And because at the end of the day, it didn't really accomplish anything. And will he be trying something similar to that later in the game series? And of course, Velmo, what he wants to do right now is build a lot of cannons in that base, which I didn't notice earlier. So he wants to split up his own main army into two big parts, and he hopes that the other part is big enough to kill Serral's Mutalisk or fight them, so he can eventually clean all of Serral's buildings up. But of course, with 68 Mutalisks, if I'm reading, no, 66 Mutalisks with more building, that is absolutely not possible, and Serral will be taking this game.
Yeah, he's up to 75 Mutalisks. He's going to lose a couple right here to the Archon Splash, as well as the Storms. But yeah, the army supply 61 to 152 does not look good for Welmo. Of course, he's got the, in essence, somewhat stronger with the Splash and the Storms and things like that. But the thing is, Cyril doesn't really have to fight him either. He can go try to pick off a couple units here and there, but mostly he can try to just pick off the buildings. He's got this Mutacloud spread as well. He's got one here at the main base. Another couple of units coming over here, but this cannon amount from Welmo is pretty intense.
But actually, at this point, with 72 Mutalisks, with good micro, like infinite cannons probably does not matter. And
yeah, he is engaging here. Yeah, just going to take the pylons, forget the cannons. He can't even get a pylon in there to power these cannons because there's too many right now. And just a couple of them powered. Now they're all unpowered, and that should do it. We'll probably see a GG from from Welmu here pretty soon. Cyril looks like he's going to be able to tie up the series.
Yeah, that ending looked pretty funny there. Like it was some kind of arcade game where you have to kill the pylon before the cannon spawn.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point, it's pretty clear there's no hope for Velmo, and
there we go.
GG.
GG! Congratulations, Cyril, able to even up the series 1-1. All right, we're going to go at least to game number 5 now.
Yeah. a pretty tense series.
Yeah, as you said there, that DT failed rush, it really, I mean, 3 DTs walking in and doing absolutely 0 damage was pretty bad. I mean, Cyril barely saw them creeping in from the side, and then he had the Overseer flying right there as the Lings got there, and they just essentially melted. Whelmu even tried to recall them out of there, but didn't manage.
Yeah.
And yeah, that investment, and Whelmu's the kind of player, though, who I wouldn't say is usually phased by things like that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him try DTs again.
Yeah. Actually, this next map, Deadwind, it's quite a good map for Protoss in the late game, depending on the spawns. So I think Velmo's going to be not going to be doing this a similar style as last game, trying something tricky, but he's going to play the long game, play the solid game, like and show his multitasking, his capabilities like he did in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, both these players really good players, honestly, and it's nice to see them just play. And something like that, just the small things that really kind of throw the game one way or another. And it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, hang on. If you can join the chat channel so we can get you invited. All right, so we're just getting a lobby set up. Again, as Zuya said, it's going to be on Deadwing.
Yeah, and I want to take this time to thank the crowd because it's looking really packed right now. So, are you guys excited for Game 3? Whoa, that's great.
Right.
I love that noise.
Yeah, people are here. People are ready to go now. All right.
I'm still not getting the invite.
All right, we'll get that sorted pretty soon.
So, Yosu, what do you think about this Yle involvement in esports this year? Because this is the biggest esport assembly ever.
Oh no, I love it. I mean, we have Counter-Strike on TV, like TV. We've had already the last couple tournaments of StarCraft and some other things on the Yle Arena, which I love the online TV, and that's already great. But now we're actually getting live TV coverage for esports. Maybe winter we'll get StarCraft up there.
Yeah, and this is really good for StarCraft also because we have Finnish players. Last time was DreamHack, and in DreamHack, the Koreans dominate. So it's harder for the new fans to get attached to these players. Oh, now I'm getting the invite, so the game should be starting shortly.
All right, yeah, just waiting for everyone to get set up here. And you're in. All right, players are ready. Casters seem to be ready, so we are going to be getting straight into game number 3. Again, on Deadwing, another relatively large map.
Yeah. So on Deadwind, there's 2 positions possible: either the horizontal long positions or the closer, closer. No, not the horizontal, the cross positions or the or
cross or vertical positions.
Yeah, or vertical positions.
Horizontal close are disabled on this map. That was one of the changes. So you can't spawn top or bottom. You can go right or right left.
Yeah. So personally, for me, because I'm more of a swarm host player, I prefer the vertical one because it's really easy to contain Protoss on 4 bases. You take that watchtower that links the 2 bases in between. You get so much vision. That means you get so much creep, and you can easily contain them. And these spawns do happen.
Yeah, here we go. Bottom right of the map from Team Neurasoft. Let's get a shout out for Whelmu. No, nobody. Okay, there we go. Fans are awake a little bit.
All the way from Tampere.
All the way from Tampere. Top right position, the blue Zerg player from My Insanity. It is. Let's make some noise for Cyril.
And Cyril is actually from a place called Pornainen, and I did not even know that there's a place called that before I met him. So it's a very rural area. It's kind of countryside. So he's a country boy. Coming to this big city playing some StarCraft. Yeah. And maybe he's gonna even go to another country, represent Finland.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do you think of the Overlord here scouting left? Is that just...
Yeah, I think this is just old habits and a slight mistake by Cyril.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't get the memo that crossed or that the close spawns are disabled. That or he just wants to go to the middle of the map first and then go across, just to not reveal the Overlord location to any kind of drone or any kind of scout in the middle of the map.
I'm not sure because maybe in Zerg versus Zerg, you want to mind game the opponent in a way like this, but in Zerg versus Protoss, you really want to see the probe if it's coming at you or not, because with the probe scout timing, you can know what build Velmo is going for. And as you can see, Velmo is now going for a Nexus first, the greediest Protoss build that there can be.
Yeah, and we'll see at what point Cyril does scout it. I do expect him to go through for a quick third hatch as soon as he does see it. It's just a matter of has he already made his pool or not.
Cyril's actually going for hatch gas pool, and this is the most economic Zerg build that also has the most potential for aggression. And the aggression is, of course, in the speed lanes. So there is this really weird timing that Cyril can do against Nexus First, just massing a bunch of speed lanes and attacking. It can work if the Protoss plays too greedily. And but now with Velmo scouting Cyril's build this fast, he should be able to react. And Cyril already being very scared seeing that probe for a cannon rush. And of course Velmo, being kind of a trickster type of guy, is known for his cannon rushes.
Yeah, he's definitely playing it out, keeping his probe there in the area, making sure that those drones don't leave.
Yeah, and Velmo going into the main base, of course, just to make sure and check and get all the information possible to know what Cyril could possibly do in the next few minutes. And Cyril actually with a slight supply block at the moment. Not very traditional for a player of this high caliber, but maybe the nerves are getting to him in this tournament right now.
Yeah, he did stop mining gas at 100, just going to go for speed. Meanwhile, we do have the Cybernetics core just about to finish up here for Welmo. He's got the 2 gases, 3 probes on each, so he's going to have gas to put down some kind of tech pretty soon. Of course, probably going to get a Stalker or Sentry. Sentry it is, and then a Mothership core soon enough before he gets his next tech.
Yeah, and Cyril being a little slow with the inject with that queen right there. And his second queen is going to pop soon. I think he's going to be looking to take a third base. This build is not that popular anymore, so I'm not that familiar with the timings. And actually Cyril going for 2 Overlords without making anything. So this signifies aggression. And okay, we're seeing 2 Zerglings. Let's see if we're going to see more Zerglings coming, because there's a high chance right now with that much mineral banked. And we see 6 and 14 Zerglings, just as I predicted. This is the speedling crazy attack that's going to happen. So hold your breath and let's see what's going to happen.
All right, there is also the second rocks on the side, so even if there's a full wall at the front, Cyril could do a little bit of aggression there on the side. Mothership core, of course, will keep that at bay, possibly. We've got these 2 gateways, we've got the pylon. No cannon, though, as Welmu has skipped the forge. Uses probes to take care of the single link that got into his base.
Point out a really small detail. Cyril was trying to use that 1 Zerglin to bait away the sentry, so that sentry would not be able to force field the front wall. But now with the sentry, with the Zerglin dying...
I was about to say I didn't think that Zealot was a tight wall there, and indeed it was not. Now, it did get the force field down. He's also now building cannons, and I'm not sure that our pylons... That pylon is right on top of the force field. I don't know if that was if that should have been built right there, but... Alright, he is going to keep this wall going up. The 1 gateway is going to go down. He's going to keep building. There's a lot of pylons just being built to keep those speedlings away, but they're going to keep whittling away at this wall, taking it down layer by layer.
And at this point, I think this is a failed all-in by Cyril. If you look at the worker count, Velmo is 43 against the 25 of Cyril, and also, I think it all comes back to that 1 Zerglin getting stuck with the probes. What Cyril needed to do is keep that sentry busy, and then when the Lins would come, Velmo would not come back in time to force field, and then eventually the Lins would run by and kill everything.
Yeah, he is going to take that last gateway down at least, but there really isn't much else here for Cyril to do. There's still 1 gateway in Welmo's base, as well as 2 additional being built. And Cyril behind this, he's going to try to take a third base, and he's also going to go up to layer. But as you said, that drone count, I mean, Cyril has to use all his larvae on drones now. He's got 5 more in production, but even that's not going to catch him up.
Yeah, now Velmo is just making more gateways. Velmo being a very intelligent player in these scenarios. So he's also getting +1. Now, what Velmu knows is, oh, invested that much minerals into Zerglings. There's no way you can have upgrades for the Zerglings or roaches this fast. So I'm just gonna make a bunch of gateways with +1. And with +1, the Zealots kill Zerglings with 2 swipes. And he's just gonna go. Oh, actually, he's gonna add a Twilight Council.
Yeah, we'll see if he goes Blink off of this, because, yeah, like you said, Larva is really Zerg's macro mechanic, and that being used to rebuild drones or to build drones to catch up means that Cyril isn't going to have any army, or then if he does have an army, he's not going to have any kind of economy behind it. So even this push from Welmu coming a little bit later, possibly that Blink all-in you were talking about before, it's still going to do a lot of damage just because, really, Cyril has to choose what to do. Although Welmu looks like he is looking to just take a third base.
Yeah, of course you can still, as Protoss, you know, because you have the Warp Gate mechanic, you can just attack even though you have a third base. So it doesn't really matter at this point. He's gonna he's not actually using his Twilight Council at this point. Maybe it was also only for +2 attack, as you do need the Twilight Council to extend the attack. Okay, we see both Blink and +2 coming down, and at this point, I'm highly suspecting him just taking the third, getting a few probes there, and then going for a huge attack.
Yeah, he's actually got 7 gates already, and he's adding 3 more. So he's going up to 10 gates. He's going to be getting Blink, +2, and he's just going to be doing a lot of damage. You got +1 finally on the way for Cyril, but it's +1 for the range attacks, and he just doesn't have much else. He's got the Hydras, so he's building a few of those.
Yeah, I think it would really take a miracle for Cyril to pull this one back, as you know, Velmu already has such a huge army with an upgrade advantage. I think Velmu's just gonna walk in and just kill Cyril. There's nothing Cyril can do.
Yeah, we got some units retreating right here. We could see some force fields trying to trap those drones. We don't see that though.
And Velmu's doing this quite safe. He's just gonna pick off that third base and recall out if he has to, or then keep going if he wants to. Yeah, he's gonna recall out and go for a bigger attack later.
Yeah, just adding in Stalkers. Blink's about halfway done. We got a Spire on the way, kind of a hidden Spire here from Cyril. But at this point, I mean, he's got resources for about 6 mutas right now. He'll probably have about 12 by the time that finishes, if Welmu doesn't do any additional aggression, which causes more units and more gas to be spent.
Yeah, and usually the thing with Mutas, he's going to try to be looking for a base trade. And when Protoss has a superior economy and a superior army to you, what will end up happening is Velmu is going to plug down a bunch of cannons. And at that point, the Mutas can't touch him, and it's going to aid his ground army as well. And he's just going to go attack, and because he has so much economy, he can just keep warping in more defensive units at home. And that attacking army is so big that Zerg can never touch it, and hence it's kind of a checkmate scenario for thinking about chess terminology.
Yeah, absolutely. And Welmu is now moving out. He's got a couple Stalkers here. Lings do come after them. They're going to try to come up the ramp a little bit. Single Zealot's not going to exactly take them out, but there's a cannon behind, and it's also a force sentry for some force fields. And Welmu spotting these units, sees expensive Hydras, decides he wants to kill them instead. Going to blink and go after them now.
Yeah, and it really just shows that in a best-of-7 series, it's actually good for both players to mix in all-in, just to throw them off. So in Game 2, Velmu tried a DT all-in, and in Game 3 right now, Cyril tried a Speedlin all-in, and neither of them made their tricks work. So it'll be interesting for the rest of the series to see what kind of strategies they opt for.
Yeah, we do have that muta transition from Cyril, so he's got a lot of them on the way, but they're unupgraded, and we already have +3 attack about halfway done for Welmu. Blinks forward, you saw that Queen just pretty much get one shot. Even the hatch is going to go down relatively quickly as soon as it gets focused.
Yeah, this is Cyril's just trying this theoretical best way to come back to this game, but it's just not gonna work. There's too many units for Velmu.
Yeah, there is mutas in the main base, but almost an equal number of Stalkers.
And Velmu just warping in more Stalkers. And with that +2 upgrade, he's gonna clean up these mutas easily, and GG is called.
Alright, GG is called. Neurosoft's Welmu taking game number 3 now. 2-1 lead. Again, best-of-7, so far from over, but yeah, in that game, that all-in just didn't pay off for Cyril. He tried to go for that Speedling, and Welmu did a good job there getting the walls up.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna have to leave right now and hand my position over to Firefly Hugs, who was with you earlier. So.
All right.
Could we
Well,
do this switch right now?
yeah, that's fine.
It's
We'll go ahead and get him
possible.
here. Go ahead and just join the lobby when you get the invite, or I'll take care of that. But
Okay.
thanks a lot for joining in for a little bit here, providing some insight,
Okay.
and we'll get Firefly Hugs back here on the stage when he gets around.
Okay.
If not, I'll go solo for a game. We'll see how that goes.
It was a great pleasure casting with you. My throat is actually hurting too much, medical reasons, but it's awesome to see such a great crowd, and keep watching and having fun.
Yeah, with these lights, I can't actually see who's out there, but here's some noises, so that's good. All right, well, thanks a lot, and hopefully we get Firefly Hugs up here pretty soon. Hello? Test, test. Okay, we are back. Firefly Hugs is here on the stage with me once again. Big shout out to him. He's been doing this quite a bit this tournament. Yep, applause for him. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, and I assume, of course, that you've been watching from wherever you've been.
Yeah, I've been around, watching Velma's point of view and stuff. Kind of funny.
Yeah, what do you think of the game so far?
Yeah, it has been really exciting, really. Like, I especially like the Swarm host one. It was really intriguing to watch, but of course it didn't end the way I wanted it to end. I always cheer for the Zerg, of course.
I understand that, of course. Got to cheer for your race. All right, well, in the bottom right position, currently up 2-1 from Team Neurosoft. Let's give a shout out to our Red Protoss, Welmu. All right, and the top left, so far he's been getting a little bit more noise, is our Blue Zerg player from My Insanity. Let's give a cheer for Cyril. I was trying to ask the audience actually earlier, but the mic was muted already. Who do you guys think is going to win? I know it's already 2-1, but do you guys think it's going to be Cyril? No? one guy believes. What about Welmu? All right, consensus is Welmu right now. And Welmu's going for a Forge, possible Expand, possible Cannon.
Yeah.
Cannon's pretty good in these positions, I think.
Okay, this is actually really interesting. Like, you see, Velma was going for something like Cannon Rush, since Cannon Rush is actually really difficult to deal with in this map. And Cyril was going for something like Hatch Block. But it seems like both of them failed in their plan, kind of.
Yeah, so now we got a drone and a probe kind of battling out in... oh, yeah, there we go. Hatch Block is going to happen here in Welmu's Natural.
Yeah, this is actually really nice from Cyril. Like, this delays Protoss so much. He has to build 2 cannons and stuff. His tech is delayed, his expansion is delayed, everything is delayed. Meanwhile, he's getting his own pool and stuff. Let's see if Velma is going to do something like a pylon block. because that's usually the best counter to this strategy.
Yeah, it looks like Cyril doesn't care about that. He might just take a third or a natural at the third instead, and then take his natural as a third. Now, does it cancel the hatch and build an Evo chamber still?
Yeah, he will cancel it, but I'm not sure about the Evo chamber. Because the problem is that two cannons are doing such a big amount of DPS that making an evolution chamber is probably not the right move.
Yeah, it only adds a couple more seconds of creep probably. But yeah, he does have that natural, or his expansion going down to third base. Gets a cancel on there right away, and the drone survives so far with 1 hit point. Probe is chasing it, and will get the kill there. And Wellmo banking a little bit there. He's got over 600 minerals, and you know what? Okay, he was going to get the Nexus down. He just decided to get the gateway first. I thought maybe he was going to do something crazy like add 3-4 gates, but with the Overlord in position, that's not something he'd want to do anyway.
So I was talking with the players before the matches, and actually Cyril was saying something like Swarm hosts are pretty good in this map, but after the overgrowth, I'm not sure if he wants to go to them anymore.
Yeah, it isn't the consensus that Overgrowth is a really good Swarm host map. And if he had some trouble there, he was probably not going to try them on a different map that's not quite as good.
Yeah, so anyway, here we see that Wellmo is actually having oversaturation at his main because of the hatch block, and he cannot transfer workers for a very long time. And also, his gateway is heavily delayed, which means that any kind of two-base all-ins are gonna be pretty hard to make. So basically, everything that Wellmo is gonna make from this position on is gonna be delayed. Whether he wants to take a third base or anything, it's gonna be extremely hard against someone like Cyril, which is truly a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he had to also invest a lot of money in the cannons, which is pretty much kind of wasted right now if Cyril's not doing anything aggressive. And taking these 3 bases, it doesn't look like he'll be too aggressive. He is getting the 2 gases at his natural, though.
Yeah, kind of early cases. Like, usually this is like the standard timing to take the 2 cases, but since you see that the Cybercore for Protoss is kind of delayed, you don't actually have to take this fast gases. So I'm kind of curious if he wants to go something like really fast tech, or if he just wants to play it safe.
Yeah, we do have the +1 on the way for Wellmo, and he hasn't added any additional tech just yet. Of course, that gas going into the upgrades. He is taking his 3rd gas and adding some stalkers.
So far, there isn't any tech from Wellmo, which is kind of surprising to me, because usually if you're put like this far behind from the beginning, you want to do something like an early Stargate, but I think he is just playing finely. Actually, 2 zealots going straight towards Cyril's 3rd base. This might be a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, a couple Lings just popped out for Cyril. They're pretty much his only army units right now. 6 Lings, and the 2 zealots could do pretty well against them. Although it looks like Wellmo is just going to bring them back for now. He's floating quite a bit of gas. Minerals. 600 minerals. He is going to throw that into a couple gateways. So his gateway count is really going to explode right now. He's got 8 of them, or 7 in production, as well as that 1 down there. The Overlord's not going to get in the base to get the full scout. There is one on the left side, or near the natural as well. If that one could come in, but I'm sure he's not expecting any kind of weird gateways in this position.
Yeah, this is actually really good for Cyril. He sees the probe moving out. He doesn't see a 4th gas. He might even see, yeah, he sees that there is no 3rd base. He should be thinking that, oh, this is gonna be an all-in. And he is just making roaches. And this should be extremely hard for Wellmo to do anything up in this position, as long as Cyril plays his cards right.
Yeah, a couple Zealots there do finally get surrounded. They do take a little bit of refuge on the wall to do as much damage as possible. Stalker's going to get a little bit of damage as well as that Mothership core until speed finishes up, and there's a decent amount of time still on that. But as you said, Cyril just pumping out roaches, and Wellmo banking a lot until he can get some warp-ins. There we go, a lot of Stalkers warping in. Again, 8 gate off 2 bases, he can definitely pump out units, but so can Cyril, and he picks off a pylon that was building a little bit closer, and I believe the probe went down as well, so Wellmo's not going to get reinforcements further than this point, unfortunately.
Yeah, Cyril is like 40 supply ahead, and most of it is in roaches, which are really good in holding this kind of things. I don't know if Wellmo is going to actually commit to this. If I was him, I would just get a 3rd base or something, get my tech up, because I don't think there's any way for this to hold. And Wellmo knows it as well, and it's just taking his 3rd base.
Yeah, he is pulling back, but I mean, even the third base right now with the units that Cyril has out, it could be hard for him to hold the third base. And Cyril's aware of that. He is sending his units this way. He's got the speedlings coming in, at least going to scout, confirm that the third base was taken.
Yeah, well, only sad thing for Cyril at this point is that he doesn't have any upgrades. And the third gets cancelled, that's huge.
Yeah, well, we know going for Blink, so he's going to have a little bit more longevity on these Stalkers, as well as being able to position them better. And with the sentry count in the force fields, that's going to help out a lot. But that third base is something that he really wants to tank. Like I said, he doesn't want to make this a two-base all-in. He also got delayed a lot earlier, and that allowed Cyril to get those units out to really deter any kind of two-base aggression here.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Cyril is such a good player that if you give him this kind of a good position, it's almost impossible to make a comeback. He's gonna need a miracle to survive this. Like, he's taking his third base, but he doesn't have any tech. All he has is Blink Stalkers. All Cyril needs to do now is go like 180 supply Hydras, and he should be able to finish this out.
Yeah, absolutely. He's already up about 30 supply, or maintaining that 30 supply lead that he's had for a while. He's adding Hydras. He's got the range for them. +1 is now on the way for them, as well as the +2 for the Protoss ground attacks. Yeah, well, we're just taking that base. He's adding a Dark Shrine because he knows he's got to do some kind of damage. But as you said, Cyril, very, very good high-level player here and doesn't make a lot of mistakes. So once he gets in a good position, it's going to be pretty hard to break. And we saw that in that game number 2 where Welma went for the Dark Templar and just didn't get anything with him, and that put him far enough behind that Cyril had a big enough advantage that he was never really in danger after that.
And now he even paints what is it called?
A Photon Overcharge.
Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, gets that out there. Overseer going to come in, and that will spark the Dark Shrine, unless his 2 Stalkers are able to deal with the Overseer in time.
Meanwhile, Cyril is going for his fourth base, he's getting Viper tech, everything is going into his favor. He's just taking a chill pill and just wants to make sure that he doesn't die to anything stupid.
Yeah, he's almost got the Hive on the way, he's got Roach Speed coming out, more Roaches on the way. He's doing a good job of balancing his unit production as well as his drone production, which is now over 80 as well. Takes out the only pylon that's outside of Welmu's bases, and without some kind of Warp Prism play, Welmu's just not going to be able to get anything moving forward for a while.
So anyway, 3 Vipers are coming ahead, and the thing is, Velmo is really going to need something like Templar tech, and he has to get the feedbacks just right. If you get the feedbacks, Vipers are going to be useless, but if you don't, they're just going to throw the Binding Clouds, and Hydras are just going to destroy everything.
Yeah, the only thing going for Welmo right now, though, is that +3 is on the way. +2 hasn't even been started for Cyril here. He's got quite a good unit count out. He's pretty much maxed right now, but just only over 100 army supply since his drone count's over 85 right now.
Yeah, actually, that's a lot of drones. That's like maybe even too many drones. His army is going to be so much weaker because of the high worker count.
Yeah, it's there and there that if he's able to remax, as long as the fights stay on Welmu's side of the max, or his side of the map, and Cyril's able to remax before Welmu moves too far, then he'll be okay. And he's going for an engagement right here. When you're ahead like this, you definitely want to trade. Good blinks out of the Blinding Cloud, but the Mothership core falls a little too far forward. The force fields, of course, holding off most of the army. But again, with those Blinding Clouds, these units not able to come forward to deal with the Roaches or Hydras. A lot of Hydras still remaining, just a couple Roaches there to tank, and good fight for Cyril. He's able to remax right away, and Welmus has to spend the little bit of resources that he has. Again, 3 bases to 4, so Cyril in very good position again. With that very high worker count, he's able to saturate these bases and keep his production up to where he's, instead of having that just single high army value, he's able to just remax if necessary.
Yeah, and now Welmu is actually moving out. Maybe he wants to move out before Vipers have full energy again.
Yeah, +3 is almost done as well. And here's a good use for those drones. Drone count now down to 75, although now back up to 80. He's got a lot of Spine Crawlers on the way. Taking an engagement right here. Blinding Clouds doing pretty well. And again, Force Fields also separating the army well here. So we might see an aggressive blink, but I don't think with those Spine Crawlers finishing, that's what Welmu wants to do here.
Yeah, this looks actually really good for Welmu. The Force Fields earlier on were really good.
Yeah, and actually the Spine Crawlers there almost acting as buffers there, keeping the Zerg forces back. But again, the blinding clouds are preventing a lot of these units from attacking, as are the force fields. So both players getting an advantage of it there. But the supply count now 150 to 177 in Welmu's favor. And again, with this +3, he's just doing so much damage that Cyril's forces just can't keep up with this. This 4th base is probably going to fall. The army is getting decimated. He's having to remax. He's got 15 roaches in production, lots of hydras. Again, with the blinding clouds doing very well, but with this mobility, Welmu is able to get out of there when needed, and he's got a nice bank behind us as well.
I mean, this just looks fantastic for Welmu. I couldn't have... when I saw the start of this game, I was sure that there would be no way for Welmu to take this, but he's definitely doing some damage over here. He cleared all of Cyril's army, and there are no longer any Vipers, he doesn't have any high-tech units, and now it's only gonna be about Blink Micro versus attack move of Cyril.
Yeah, the army value, though, now in Cyril's favor. He's got 190 supply to 133. The army value is 66 to 111. So with these remaxes, with these roaches, with these hydras, with the infestors, Cyril is building an army to deal with this. And Welmu's bank, especially that gas count, is dipping pretty low. He's not able to take a 4th base on the side over here because there's a Zergling harassing as well as that creep spread by the Overlord.
Look at this 4th base from Cyril. He almost killed it with the Vipers.
Oh, yeah.
So close, 100 hit points.
It did take a little bit damage in those fights as well, but yeah, that's probably want a queen or two there for some transfuses wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, looking just so funny. By the way, behind this, Cyril is getting Ultralis covered. He has a Spire. He has everything he wants for a tech transition.
Yeah, he can pretty much just pick whatever tech choice he wants. He can see what Welmu's doing and just build whatever he wants on top of that.
And now he's almost out of force fields. Without force fields, these Stalkers are gonna be so much less efficient. And there's also fungal growth.
Yeah, he's got about 4 force fields in that army right now. Of course, getting energy is all the time. But yeah, the fungals, as you said, that's going to trap these stalkers in place. And without being able to blink, that really does take away some of their abilities there and pretty much the longevity that they've got.
The fight is going to happen. The fungal growths are excellent, but there's just so little army from Cyril. Like, he has so many workers that there are almost no army here.
Yeah, the army supply now even, both in the 90s. And again, good blinding clouds here does keep a lot of these units from fighting directly, but so do, again, the force fields. And reinforcements were picked off once again. Hydras would go down, but they aren't targeted right away. Good aggressive blink forward here. Now catches a lot of these Hydras. It's a lot of DPS. I'd like to see some Guardian Shields, but we just don't have the energy for that. But these Hydras are going to take it down. Good blinks from Welmu, getting the front line of Stalkers moving back over and over. But again, that remax, 5 Ultralisks, Roaches, and almost 20 Hydras are on the way. Now that 4th base was canceled by a bunch of Roaches just on the right side of the map. Just a small handful were able to deal with that. This base with that little bit of HP will fall now as well, and Welmu could just go on the right side. I don't believe he really knows about that right side base, but he definitely should go that way to check it out.
Yeah, but Welmu really needs to move out of the creep. When the Ultralisk come and his army is all trapped here, Zero's Remax is just gonna destroy this army. The Ultralisk are just gonna come and he's totally got upright. There are no more force fields to destroy. Binding clouds are excellent. Everything goes into Zero's favor and he just takes the map.
Absolutely. GG, well played. Great surround there by Cyril. Again, just surrounding, getting those blinding clouds. If Welmu was a machine right there, if he was a machine, if he was a Korean,
yeah,
he would have hallucinated and blinked on the high ground.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't even know if any Koreans would have been able to do that. But,
yeah.
But we got 2-2 now, so this game, this final is really living up to some expectations now. I mean, 2-2. If this was a best of 5, it'd come down to this. But we still have possibly 3 more maps, at least 2 more maps. Of course, both players predicted 4-2, and again, neither one was ballsy enough to say who would win or that they would win. But all right, 4-2, and map number 5 here. Going to be on Nimbus, so another large map. After this, we've got Catalina, and the final map, if we have to, is Merry-Go-Round. So pretty good maps here.
Yeah. Actually, I was talking with Velmo earlier on about the maps, and he was actually feeling that he didn't like Nimbus. He was like, oh, I hate that map. It's so bad against Zerg. And I was like, what? It's like the best map for Protoss. That doesn't make any sense. Why don't you like it? So, I don't know. Maybe it's a good map or maybe not. We had a twisting conflict. But one thing is certain. Velmo doesn't like to play it. and that might affect the most.
Yeah, especially now with a tie, it's a 2-2 and he's going in a map he doesn't like. It might depend on how much Cyril likes the map as well. But just something like that, I mean, if he gets a loss here, now he's going to go down. So far, he's stayed ahead in the series the whole time. He went up 1, got tied. Went up 2-1, got tied now. So if he falls behind, that could also play with his psyche. And he's someone in a lot of tournaments that's kind of... You don't really see Welmu come back in a lot.
Yeah. I understand exactly. It's like he either takes something like 3-0 or he gets 0-3, something like that. He's always like either dominating. It's like never something like a comeback hero, I would say.
Yeah. All right. So Cyril able to tie the game or the series up 2-2. He's spawning here in the top right position as our blue Zerg player. Welmu has now given up the tie, and he's our red Protoss player in the bottom left. So we got the cross positions here. And yeah, Nimbus here with that in base. Easy to take expansion. Yeah, I'm not sure why Welmu doesn't really like this map. You'd think that with a single force field, pretty easy to block off ramp and essentially free expansion, that he'd be happy with it.
Yeah, he was actually talking about this map, and he said that he's probably gonna go for Nexus first gateway opening, which is the greediest opening in a Protoss book. And of course that in-base expansion is gonna help tremendously holding any kind of like early pools. Of course there are some speeding all-ins which are really hard to hold. But, well, that's a risk you have to take. It's almost the last game, and you have to take every risk to be the best.
Yeah, we do have that pylon just in the base. Meanwhile, here from Cyril, he's up to 15 supply. And we'll see. This is where he either goes for an expansion, and he does have the drone sitting there. There we go. Hatch first from Cyril, so no speedling openings from him.
Yeah, and also Welmu was speaking that he's probably gonna go something like a 3-base Blink Stalkers. He wasn't certain. He said that he'll see how the game goes on, but that's probably what we're gonna see. And let's see just how well someone like Cyril can respond to a 3-base Blink Stalker.
Yeah, Welmu did pretty well with the Blink Stalkers in the last game, as we saw. Unfortunately, he was just too far behind at that point, wasn't able to really make anything happen there.
Yeah, but the Ultralisk were a really good choice. I wasn't like thinking about them. I never like do Ultras against. They just die to Immortals in my games, but well, it worked perfectly, and it was just TT when he came to the creep.
Yeah, it helps out there that Welmu definitely didn't have any Immortals. And if you think about it, the Muta switch there against the Blink Stalkers might not be the best choice either. So that was definitely well played by Cyril. Welmu here going up to 2 gases. He's got the gateway finishing up, adding a cyber core as well. And you see the building placement here as well that he's got minimal gaps into these into this mineral line, just in case there was some kind of speedling opener. He would be able to just keep the probes in here and kind of block off any kind of links trying to come in.
Yeah, let's just see how greedy he wants to take this. He hasn't scouted anything. He does neither player. Oh, actually, he has scouted. Kind of wrong. But Cyril still doesn't know what Welmu is up to. He could be doing anything, almost anything.
Yeah, Welmu assumes that there's a natural. He just scouts to see that there's a third, wants to make sure that there isn't the second or possible hidden third as well. And he's not going to get away from those links, so that probe is pretty much forfeit most likely. Speed's now on the way.
Yeah, and actually Welmu is going for really fast Stalker. He's chrono boosting it. I don't know why. Maybe he just wants to scout out if there's a third base or something. I don't know.
Well, actually, with that Stalker being chrono boosted, he might just be able to save that probe. I mean, it's just a probe. It was a scouting probe, but hey, if you can save it, bring it back to your base, and get some mining with it, might as well. He doesn't go any more aggressive with the Stalker. He might have been able to chase down the Lings a little bit, but chose not to. I think he's waiting for the scouting Overlord and wants to try to pick that off.
Yeah, it's really important to keep the Overlords at bay. If you can just get something like Dark Shrine or Stargate without scouting, it's gonna be so efficient. But of course, if you just know what's coming, you can always react to it with Zerg.
Yeah, he does have the Stargate on the way now. He's also taking one of the gases at his natural. Overlord is coming in, and it's got a long way to go before it gets to that Stargate, but Welmu doesn't seem too concerned about it. He's keeping that Stalker there at his ramp.
I don't think he knows it's coming. Or maybe he's afraid of speedling all in or something, because he deals out a really fast speed. So it's
Yeah, the speed is actually finished already. 623, about as quick as you ever see it in Zerg versus Protoss,
yeah.
unless it's a speedling all in.
And now Zero sees that it's an oracle. Actually, you can see it right now that it's an oracle if you're a player. It's just barely shown that it's an oracle, and it takes years of practice to notice that it's an oracle, not Phoenix. But anyway, so he should be getting the spores, and he's getting the spores, which is pretty good. And a third base.
Yeah, third base is on the way, about halfway done. +1's on the way here for Wilmo. He's going to follow this up with a Void Ray. So interesting play from him. It's been a while since I've really seen much Void Ray play in ZVP. I know it's not uncommon, but just haven't seen it for a little while.
Yeah, maybe he just wants to clear off the overlords and just take a safer third base. And the oracle goes and gets 2 kills.
Not too bad there, considering there's a Spore and a Queen.
Yeah, usually oracles are kind of one-trick pony. It's kind of like you just get the scouting info. It's not supposed to kill many workers, maybe 4.
Yeah, Void Ray does take down the Overlord, and then the Wilmo follows up with the Twilight Council immediately.
Yeah, he's probably just gonna go something like 2-base Blink Stalker timing from 3 bases.
Yeah, again with that starport just to kind of keep things a little bit interesting. Decent force field right there, unable to follow it up there to kind of keep the Lynx trapped in. Does a little bit of damage, but at least clears the Overlord creep over there, so he's able to take that third base.
Yeah, Velmo is actually floating really many minerals now, and it's getting kind of hard for him to keep up the macro with that third base.
Yeah, even after putting down that Nexus and 2 pylons, he's still above 600 minerals. Yeah, I'm surprised he's not adding on a couple gateways just to... I mean, he's going to have the resources to use them eventually. No reason really not to add them on.
Yeah. Generally, is actually going for something like Hydralisk, which are kind of... I like it, but it's gonna be tricky, because the Hydralisk are good as long as there are no Templars, no Colossi. So they're like kind of good for some time.
It's possible that with that Void Ray, he's just wants to have a little bit more anti-air in his army as well.
Yeah.
All right, 3 more gates plus the 2 at his third. So the gateway count is going to go up. There's 2 additional gateways being built at third as well. Those are, of course, mostly just to wall off.
Yeah, he's actually pulling a huge amount of gateways, 7 gateways. It probably means that he's just gonna all in. Usually you don't want to have this many gateways. Instead you want to have something like real tech. You want to add on like 2 stargates or something like a robotics bay. And when I say that he builds a robotics facility.
Yeah, of course, always does that. That's happened quite a bit. He does have +2 and Blink on the way as well. We also have +1 melee on the way for Cyril, as well as that Hydro range upgrade. Roach speed and the Hive Tech actually already being upgraded as well. And a 4th base.
Yeah, this is working really good for Cyril so far. Because the thing is that Hydralisk are gonna counter all the gateway units. And then he's gonna transition into Hive Tech where you can counter everything else.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he goes Ultralisks again. Of course, he's not getting any upgrades for them at the moment, just with the melee range. I'm sorry, just the plus range attack.
Yeah, but actually Ultralisk are like really good. They just do so much damage that you don't actually need to even have the melee upgrades. And they also tank really much. So,
as well as crushing force fields.
Yeah, that's actually the best thing they do. It's like, oh, sick force fields. No, I got 1 Ultralisk.
Yeah, +3 now started out, and Warp Prism here from Wilmo as well. Continuing that Stalker Warping, so I think he's going to do a little bit of getting ready to do a little bit of aggression. Doesn't have to worry about pylon placement with that Warp Prism coming out. He's also got the Templar Archives finishing up, and now upgrading Charge.
And Cyril is again going for the Viper timing. This is kind of funny because I was talking with Cyril earlier on, and maybe he was just metagaming like Elmo or something, but he said something like, Roach Hydra Viper no longer works, it never works for me, and then he keeps on doing it on every game.
Interesting.
Maybe he was thinking that somebody's gonna tell Velmo that he's never gonna do that. That's like really funny.
Well, either way, we did see him do it last game, and he's going for that composition and Swarm Hosts. 4 Swarmhouse now on the way, as well as the Enduring Locust upgrade, so he's going to be able to keep the Locusts alive a little bit longer. And Welmo looks like he is finally starting to move out. He's got a couple Hyper Templar to nicely deal with the Vipers. He's got a decent amount, not too many of those Stalkers. Blinks forward a little bit, does take care of that Zelnaga tower. Pulls back after that, kind of just letting his units gather together a little bit. Doesn't have an Observer with the army, though. I take that back. There we go. There's one Observer there.
The Bar Prism actually dies to the Vipers, and now the Zealots are killing the natural.
Yeah, the Zealots are getting some damage done in there. 6 workers killed off so far. And well behind that, he's decided that instead of moving out too far, he's just going to take a 4th base.
Yeah, he probably sees that his timing window is shut. Like, playing against someone like Serral, when you're having delayed 3rd base and delayed everything, it's kind of hard to hit any kind of timing windows.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, Serral knows this as well. He sees the Templar, and he knows that, well, Vipers are not gonna do anything for me now that he has got Templars. So I have to transition into something, and that being the Swarm Host.
Yeah, the Swarm Host could be pretty good here. He's only got the 1 upgrade though, +1 ranged attack. No other upgrades coming out, and that's, I mean, besides the kind of unit helping upgrades, but no attack, no defense, nothing there. Now getting actually the melee and the Carapace, so I wouldn't be surprised again if we do see him go for an Ultralisk or Broodlord tech switch.
This is kind of interesting in a way that since Velmo is doing this kind of an army that consists mostly of like gateway units, and he never puts in mortals, at least on this series. So basically everything in his composition doesn't do anything against Ultralisk. So maybe he's just like, well, I'm just gonna make Ling Ultra.
Yeah, he is adding a 2nd Robo this game though, and he's already got, or he's just now starting Thermal Lance. But with the double Robo, he would be able to get either double Colossi or add some Immortals if he does scout the Ultralisk transition, which has not started yet. No Ultralisk Cavern out yet.
Yeah, I really hope that Serral makes better creep spread now. His Locusts are not reaching anywhere. Like, they're not threatening anything.
Yeah, that was one of the problems I think on Overgrowth, is that the Locusts, they weren't coming far enough. They were coming towards the army, and Welmo just pulled the army back each time. He never really had to deal with them. We do have a little bit of engagement right here. A lot of the Stalkers and Roaches kind of getting caught. We'll get another blink here in a moment. There we go, and Welmo getting a couple more kills there. Units now back on creep, and they will be able to retreat a little, at least retreat to the safety of the Swarm Host. Aggressive blink forward by Welmo could actually cost him a couple units. He's also got the sentries coming behind, so he can force field, at least get some Guardian Shields up as well. And good flank from Locust as well. Going to draw out a couple Storms, and unfortunately Storms just don't quite do enough damage to deal with them. The timers are going to run out though, so Locusts are going to be respawning now. And I like this play by Serral. He's got the Locust going one direction. Now he moves the Swarmos aggressively forward. He's also getting a lot of these spines and spores to ensure that nothing can really do any kind of damage. He's also, I thought this was an expansion over here with how big a clump of blue it was, but he is taking an expansion on the right middle.
Yeah, this seems just so weird. I mean, the Velmo has only 2 Colossi so far, so basically he doesn't have much of splash damage to deal with these Locusts. And Serral is taking wall of the middle, which means like pushing frontal on is gonna be really hard. And since he's getting the, well, he got the double Ling upgrades, Lings are gonna do some serious damage if he just uses them correctly.
Yeah, it's he hasn't gotten the Adrenal Glands upgrade either. It's something, just from what I see, a lot of Zergs forget to gather after they get Hive.
So many drones dying.
Yeah, drones, and the thing about the drones is they're going to reveal that there's a base on this side of the map as well.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know if Velmo can push there. Like, he's gonna be trapped by the Locust if he goes there. Since he doesn't have a Mothership Core with this army, I wonder where it is.
Yeah, good point there. He does have the double Colossi production, so he's definitely getting that count up. But yeah, not having the Mothership Core could be an issue. Of course, maybe it just got sniped. He does have, there are a lot of Vipers out, and you never know what gets pulled by those.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, we're just watching and wondering if he's gonna go for Corruptors again. Last time it didn't work out very well.
Yeah, he does have the Spire finishing up.
Base is under attack.
Go ahead.
And the thing is, Serral really doesn't have any, like, he cannot reproduce this army because he has made so much static defense. He has oozed all his money into this Spike Spore Crawler wall. So if he loses this army or too much economy, it's game over for him. So even though it seems really strong, it's not. I don't know if this is too much static defense.
Yeah, interesting here. It looks like Wilma's a little hesitant, doesn't really know where to go. He's got a nice Colossi army with a lot of energy units in the mix as well. Going to be able to deal with this base as well over here. And the Locusts, meanwhile, are in the middle of the map. We also see some units moving on the right side of the map. It looked funny on the minimap. They kind of jump up. Blink Stalkers going down the top left. Meanwhile, the base on the right gets eliminated by this High Templar army, High Templar Colossi. And the High Templar a little too slow here, taking a lot of damage from the Broodlings. Don't manage to die, fortunately, but again, having a Mothership Core or something here would allow him to get units out of this army.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like if he just fails once and gets gets out of position or something, he might just lose this whole army, which is kind of why you need Mothership Core. I don't know why he's not repulling it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, we see Wilmo actually adding on quite a bit. He's got the Dark Shrine. 4 Stargates are coming in as well, and he's starting to get he's got the Graviton boosters, faster Warp Prism, so he can really start moving around the map and get as much damage done as possible. Stalkers doing damage on the right side of the map once again. Ling's not really the best counter to the Stalkers. The Adrenal Glands upgrade is finally being researched. We also have Flyer attacks coming on for Cyril.
Yeah, some Templar dying to the Locust waves again. This is the frustrating part about dealing with the Locust, is that you keep on losing units to free units. But this might be a missed move from Cyril. He loses a lot of things. He lost at least 2 Vipers.
Yeah, he lost some Vipers. A couple of the, I think a couple of the Corruptors took a little damage there as well, especially from the Storm. One of the Vipers, or Colossi, gets yanked, but Wilmo able to pull it back quick enough. Gets it in the army. Gets pulled again, and this time the 2 Colossi do go down.
And there is almost no anti-air with this force. There are just a couple of sentries, 1 Archon, and a couple of Stalkers. So these Corruptors might just go and kill all of these Colossi.
Yeah.
So many drones dying, so many drones dying.
21 drones falling right there, and that's that does free up some supply for Cyril, but unfortunately, actually, he's still got 71 behind us. Archon's being morphed in now. The Templar have used their energy, and the Locusts not actually managing to do too much right there. So looks like Wilma will be able to get this army to safety. He's taking some damage on this left side base. He's got a good cannon mount there, and also getting some Dark Templar to deal with the Ling run by. Not the best force fields, but they do their job eventually. 1 Viper does pull back a Colossi.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Cyril, but there is just one problem. In this 4-player maps, it's really hard for Zerg to take the 5th or 6th base, because Protoss gets the mobile army that sucks, kinda, in a straight-up battle. But the good thing is you can just run everywhere. Actually, the 3rd base from Cyril was killed at some point. And it gets really hard for you to keep all the expansions together. Because there are War Prisms, there might be something like Mothership Core, Harass, and stuff like that. It's really hard to do anything about it.
Yeah, Dark Templar are actually coming back to the 3rd base. They're just barely not going to be able to get the Queen. There's the 1 Spore Crawler that's barely on creep, staying alive.
Yeah, but the Dark Templar are left alive.
Oh yeah, he runs out of units to kill them with. Base on the bottom right corner is going to get taken out, and that right middle is also going to take it out again. The Locusts get just in range to see these Stargates, which have been so far making a lot of Void Rays here. The Void Rays do have 1 armor and 1 attack upgrade, so 1 Void Rays, also 1 shield upgrade. The rest of Welmu's forces have +3 attack and +2 shields. Another Colossi gets pulled in, eliminated immediately, and the Locusts, pretty high level, high timer here, are pulling in, not quite getting microed directly. They're actually going to the corner here where the army is not at the moment.
Yeah, this is a really tough position for Cyril. Velmu has so much in the bank. I mean, he can just keep on making units. But this is really good. This is really good. The Locusts are catching some Archons, and he is tanking some Void Rays and Colossi.
Yeah, we do see that prismatic alignment, so the Void Ray is doing a lot of damage there. Pick off a couple of the Corruptors, and every time they get close. And a nice play there actually picks off the Observer, so even if this army finds a Locust, there's nothing they can really do about it. And now the straight engagement here, and Corruptor's doing a lot of damage. Focusing down the Colossi first. Blinding Clouds and Corruption going down. I'm sorry, just Corruption going down. And it looks like this Void Ray army is going to get wiped out here. Cyril also eliminating his bank. He's building as much as he can right now. He's only got 50 minerals in his bank right now. He's building more Corruptors. He's actually building drones because he's so low.
Yeah, this looks Well, really interesting, really. Cyril isn't mining. He has 700 income, not even that. And he's constantly being denied the bases. There are charge slots going everywhere. It's really hard for him to even keep these bases, and he needs to take like 2 more expansions. And I really don't see the point of having static defense at the middle of the map if you cannot defend your expansion, which is like the story of this game.
That's a very good point. Welmu's doing a good job of getting us just on the side. Again, going around either way. He's taking out bases once again, eliminating a base that was building as well as a base that was already mining. So, I mean, Cyril's income now, well, it's still around that 700 mark, but it's pretty much long-distance mining and mining from one of his bases.
Yeah, and the drones keep on dying. This looks like a really bad thing. I don't think Cyril should be making farmhouse, really. I mean, he seems to have a really good confidence in his macro abilities, but these farmhouse just don't seem to got it.
Oh, this...
Yeah, and he's gonna GG because he doesn't have any economy.
All right, so Welmo, despite not liking that map, does come out with the W there. So he's now up 3-2. He's brought up match point. Again, both players said 4-2. We'll see how that goes again. Game number 6 here on Catalina. We'll see how that comes out. But yeah, that game, I think just with the Swarm host, he was playing too much like just tag with the army. He was trying to get the army. He was trying to take those side expansions. And Welmo, again, just too good with his multi-pronged harass, sending those zealots over all different sides. Didn't even need a warp prism for them, but just got the units around on the sides, Dark Templars as well, and just pretty much denied any of the mining.
Yeah, actually, I was talking with Velmo earlier on about the Swarm host, and he said that he really doesn't know how to play against Swarm host, but the only player in Europe who can actually play Swarm host is Newt. So it was kind of like, well, you keep on losing to one guy. Is that a problem?
Apparently it's an issue there, but yeah, pretty much interesting way of putting it that he doesn't know how to beat them, but only with certain players playing them. So that would say that he's pretty good against everyone else who does go Swarm host. So, yeah. And as he's shown here, he's won both the games where Cyril's gone Swarm host. So we'll see. Again, game 6, first match point here for Welmu. He's on double match point. Cyril apparently had a little issue, had to relog, so he's back online. We'll get him in the lobby shortly.
So what do you think we're going to see this time?
Catalina, I think now we're going to see maybe the Blink all-in. Maybe an Immortal all-in just because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, that might be the case. But I don't know. Velmo was talking earlier on that he likes to do Immortal all-in only after he has done something else first, like Gateway aggression or something. He just doesn't like it like a, 1-2 punch.
Right.
It cannot be like one punch and just go. It's too much like if you just make one mistake, your full army dies. It's a lot more harder for Zerg to deal with if you keep on making like 1-2 punch or 1-2-3 punch.
That's a good point. However, again, he does have that little bit of room. So if he makes a mistake, if something happens, then he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's true. So let's see. Last time both players were playing pretty greedy. Cyril was going for Hatchery first, and Velmo was going Nexus Gateway. And we'll see what happens this time around.
Indeed. All right. Well, we got the players spawned here on Catalina in the left position. A red Protoss player plays for the team Neurosoft. Might be the last chance, so make some noise for Welmu. All right. His opponent here in the top are a blue Zerg player playing for Team My Insanity. Let's get some noise for Cyril. All right, it's funny. The crowd seemed to cheer a little bit more for Cyril each time, except when I asked who they thought would win. Then they cheered a little more for Welmo. So I think it sounds like the fans are hoping that Cyril would win, but most do believe that Welmo, especially with this position now, he's got 2 games to do it. He probably has a pretty good chance.
Well, I've been talking to people, and people seem to hate Protoss for some reason. Maybe it's because they kept on Sentry Mortaling Zergs for 2 years, just kept on doing that strategy over and over again, and everybody is like, well, one base Oracle all-in. Anybody can do that.
That are the Blink Stalker all-ins against Terran. I mean, there's lots of reasons to hate them, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. So basically, we have everybody on Terran and Zerg side just cheering for, well, Serral, since they don't want Protoss to win.
Yeah, that very well could be. All right, we do have the gateway possible expand here from Welmu. Cyril's sent his Overlord in the correct direction, so he's going to be able to spot that base in a second here. He's also got his natural and his spawning pool just about to finish.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. Serral is playing safe. He doesn't want to die anything stupid like a cannon rush. But in the meantime, Velmo is going only one gas this game, which means that he's gonna have a little bit faster of an expansion. And actually, Serral doesn't scout it. Why doesn't he scout it?
He saw the gateway, so he's just turning around. Yeah, he didn't check the gases. I think he doesn't want to give away his position. He doesn't want Welmo to see the Overlord.
Yeah, that's true, but Velmo has got it in every game, I think, except for the Nexus first game.
Yeah, it's true. It doesn't really make much sense not to get that scout with the Overlord. You've got it there. You might as well check the gas timings, just see what's going on, just to make sure there isn't anything really weird going on in the base.
Yeah, so one Celot moving out, I don't know why. Maybe he's just trying to deny scouting information or something.
Yeah, again, could be. Overlord is in position to see if the Nexus is going down with the expansion.
So still just one gas, which probably means that we're gonna see at least 3 gate pressure. It might be like 4 gate pressure. Like I was talking about that 1-2 punch. Maybe he's gonna warp in like, you know, 12 zealots and just attack move them at the 3rd base, and then he's gonna follow it up with an immortal all-in. But we'll see. Like, this tactic used to be really good. It used to be like so hard to stop, but now that the Mothership core has been slightly nerfed, it has actually gotten a little bit easier to hold. And actually, Serral saw Velmus probe just for a blink of second, and the links are coming to catch it. So this is really good for Serral.
Yeah, probe here at the top. The links are on the way, and we'll just see what pattern they're going. Doesn't have the full pattern there. Looks like it's just going to move around the map, but he will get close enough to spot the probe over there.
Yeah, this is good, because now Velmo has to send another probe to make the proxy pylon, which is going to delay this push quite a while.
Yeah, this actually reminds me of, I think it was Velmo's final game up against Pupu, or I'm not exactly sure remembering which game it was, but he had the probe on the map and he was going for some kind of pretty much 4-gate, and he did end up going for a 4-gate, but he didn't. It was delayed a bit since, again, he didn't have that probe and he didn't have that pylon on the map.
Yeah, so basically Serral now knows that there shouldn't be any pressure, or maybe he doesn't, he just made some safety things.
Yeah, I mean, there is 3 gates or 4 gates regardless.
Yeah, actually 4 gates, this is, yeah, this seems like an all-in, which is kind of weird because he just keeps on making more probes.
Yeah, he said in the interview that it was the one game that he lost, and he said that he had designed or planned to go for a 4-gate, and it did some damage with it, and then after that he was planning on doing a little bit of a kind of a Immortal Sentry all-in to follow up, but he kind of botched that. And I believe it was on Catalina as well.
So he's using the same strategy again, maybe.
It does look that way, but again, he doesn't have anything going across the map. He's not trying to get any kind of a pylon out, although now he's moving out and he's bringing a probe with him. It could just be for a 3rd, although we'll have to see which way it goes. He's still warping in units, because that was the one thing he said. He said that getting the probe delayed didn't really matter because he just kept warping in his base. So he is moving out a little bit. Zealots and Sentries does get spotted with his Lings. He's got the Zealot and Sentry back at home, so he's going to be able to deal with the Lings.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he's gonna add some tech. Like, he doesn't have any tech still.
Yeah, he is adding a Forge behind this.
Yeah, force, but that's really not gonna help. You're just getting +1.
Yeah, and even +1 to be so delayed. I mean, it takes the time to get the Forge, 45 seconds, and then the first upgrades, what are they, 110 or something like that.
Yeah, so Serral is actually behind on the worker count, which means that he should be able to defend this rather easily.
Yeah, he's hung back up 42 workers, so he's able to add the units. He's got the larvae going into the roach production. And yeah, Welmo behind this, he's just got the 4 warp gates warping in units. He's got the Robotech and the +1 now on the way, so he could be doing something very similar where he wants to just get the he's got the Immortal or Sentries out, and he's going to just add the Immortals and the +1 and do kind of a really delayed Sentry Immortal all-in with additional gateway units.
Yeah, this seems rather interesting because the Immortal All-in is gonna be so delayed, like immensely delayed. I don't know if it's gonna work anymore. Like, I don't know, Volvo is of course an excellent player, but this robotics just seems so late. It's gonna be something like 12 minutes or maybe 13 minutes.
And it looks indeed like he's not going to go that way. He's getting Observer out of the Robo, and he's adding on a Twilight Council. So he's getting that Twilight Council, and with that he'll be able to increase his upgrades. He'll be able to get +2 once +1 finishes. And he's also going to probably go for Blink. He does favor Blink a lot, and he does pretty good micro with his Blink.
Yeah, and he's actually getting a Twilight Council, which kind of tells me that he's trying to take a third base at some point.
Yeah, as well as that Warp Prism. So we'll see if he uses that for a little bit of harassment.
Actually, Cyril doesn't have anything in position to see the Warp Prism, really. He needs to move out some Overlords, or otherwise the Warp Prism might just, well, catch him off guard.
Yeah, I thought Wilma was actually going to try to go for this Overlord with the Stalkers and the Mothership Core for vision, but instead he just cleared that base so he could take his third. He does got +2 and Blink on the way, again getting that third base and adding some Immortals to his army as well.
Oh, this Rose is getting caught off guard really bad. You don't want to get, you don't really want to trade units for force fields at this point.
No, absolutely not. Energy for units is never a good trade for the person giving away units. But yeah, we do have Hydras on the way. Hydra range, +1 melee or +1 range attack for Zerg as well. And really that's the first upgrade after the Protoss +1.
Yeah. This is kind of interesting. So he still doesn't, because the thing that I was doing against Velmo is that I wanted to go Swarm Host because he doesn't get any splash. He favors to get Immortals and Blink Stalkers. And since you don't get any splash, it's really hard for you to deal with Locust. But the thing is that Velmo doesn't mind that, since he's just using a Warp Prism and Blink Stalkers to delay you and just runs all around the map and just... the Swarm Hosts don't work because you cannot be aggressive with them, since you have to constantly defend. So this is really strong style that Velmo is using.
Yeah, I definitely like that strategy against the Swarm Host, and I mean, as we've seen, it has worked. Now we do have the Infestation Pit finishing up, so we'll see which direction Cyril goes with that. If he does get the Enduring Locusts, or if he gets some Infestors, or just goes straight for Hive Tech. Either way, we do have Velmo moving out. Looks like he wants to be a little bit aggressive. There's a couple Roaches here, and Blink's just about to finish, so Velmo will be able to catch up to those in... actually, Blink's a little further away.
Yeah, and actually the main base is getting ravaged by the Zealots. There is nothing to defend. It drones trying to defend, but that's never a good move. And the Lynx with no 0/0 upgrades are not doing anything against this.
Yeah, an entire army gets pulled back, and the Warp Prism actually flies over the Hydras. Did a good job of picking up the Zealots, but unfortunately didn't have it commanded to go back after picking them up. So donates to Zealots for free inside of that Warp Prism. Only minerals lost there, fortunately for Velmo, but still a little bit of an issue. He's adding on his Templar Archives, and I'd like to see him remake a Warp Prism. His Robo's currently not doing anything, and he does have the minerals for it.
Okay, this is actually interesting. He's getting Tunneling Gloves and Burrow, so I think he's gonna play some Whack-A-Mole with the Protoss player. He's just gonna go behind the mineral line to all the 3 mineral lines with Roaches, and then he's just gonna unpro them all and just totally destroy every probe line. I hope so, at least. Since Velmo doesn't have any cannons at his natural, nor his main, and he's checking it with Overseer, so he should be doing this move. It's really good.
Alright, we also got Hive on the way, and 6 additional gateways on the way for Velmo. He's getting us +3 attack and Storm and Zealot charge. So lots of upgrades coming in for Velmo. And it looks like just a small skirmish takes out some Zealots, but well, we haven't seen any real battles yet.
Yeah, that's kind of... Well, I don't know. Kind of weird game. Like, I was thinking that Velmo is gonna do an all-in, and then he didn't do it, and then I was thinking that Cheryl might be doing something instead, but no. Both players are just checking it out and just checking that, oh, you're doing that, and you're doing that. But anyway, Cheryl is going for the melee upgrades again, which is kind of weird, since I don't really know what he's gonna do. And the Spire goes down. Maybe he's gonna go something like Ling Muta.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of just getting his tech options out there so that he can choose whatever he wants once he sees what Velmo adds to his army. Right now, it's just these Immortals. He does have the High Templar as well. So the Immortal High Templar Gateway army, not too bad. especially with the mobility that he has, and he will have splash in the form of Archons and Storm since that is done.
Yeah, this creep spread is actually really good for Zerg player though. Because the fact is that it's really hard for Protoss player to push because Lynx are gonna be so strong and so are Hydras. And there are like 8 Pugnals. So it's gonna be really hard to break this.
Yeah, and Welmu's split his forces right now. He's got most of the Immortals taking care of these Roaches, a couple good Storms going down, but the bulk of his army is in the middle of the map just clearing creep. And there was a large Zerg force around the map. Looks like the Lings are getting split up, and the rest of the force is trying to come after this army in the middle. He's got a lot of Infestors in this army.
He's catching all the Templars. This might be huge.
Yeah, good Storms going down, but again, the Fungals on the Templar. They do get a couple. One of them two of them manage to escape into an Archon. Still damage here going down at this base. The Lings do get cleaned up. And Welmu's down a little bit in supply, 184 to 156. He's still overall got the slightly better army composition, although the Lings, again, no Adrenal Gland upgrade for the Lings, and we got 5 Ultralisks on the way. Shin is plating as well as 2-2 on the way. But with this amount of Immortals out, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, this is actually looking really hard. Since the Immortal count is at 6. You got 6 Immortals and Zerhal is making him Ultralisk, I don't know. But then again, there is nothing good that works against Immortals. And the first Ultralisk gets destroyed almost immediately.
Yeah, absolutely taken down. It's also stuck out of the way a little bit. More Immortals coming in, or Ultralisks coming in. They do get the Immortal count down to 4. Lynx coming in, going to be able to clear 2 more of those Immortals, most likely, barely taking them down. There's only 2 Immortals left, but again, the Ultralisks are gone. They're not coming in. GG, and Welmu does it. Welmu will be going to Azerbaijan as the Finnish representative for the IeSF WC. So congratulations to Welmu. Takes it as they predicted, 4-2.
Yeah, it was really funny the last fight. The 4 Ultralisk were behind the Evolution Chambers, so they couldn't help in the fight, and all of the Zerg armies died.
Yeah, positioning really affected right there, and that's one of the things Welmu, especially from his PvP, you often see just the positioning he does. So I think we're going to do at least a winner's interview, possibly a ceremony. I don't really know. We've got these trophies out here, so I honestly don't know what's going to happen next, but congratulations to Welmu for winning, and we'll have something going on. I think we'll run just a quick ad and then get into winner's interview or whatever we have coming on. Once again, hey, thanks a lot for the casting this weekend. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
And everyone watching, hey, it's been a blast casting for you guys, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, audience.
All right, we're back again for the awards. It's always hard to call someone up after a unfortunate loss like that, but give a hand, those of you who are still here, for our second place player here from My Insanity. Cyril played very well. Got a nice round of applause. I'm not sure if that's exactly for him over there, but still a lot of people cheering. All right, so 4-2, just like you predicted. Didn't go your way, unfortunately. So still some practice to do. What do you think was the biggest thing that held you back right there?
I think the biggest problem was that I haven't really practiced Swarmos plays, so I played them without practice. So that was the problem, I think.
Yeah. The Swarm host didn't seem to work out anytime. Welmu did a good job of going around them. Good job of going around them, unfortunately. So, well, congratulations, second place, and hope to see you at many more tournaments. And keep practicing. Pretty soon, you'll be up here for the first place. Yep. All right, and first place here at the IeSF Finnish qualifiers is none other than Neurosoft's Welmu, once again crowned as Finland's champion. Come on up, Welmu. First place, congratulations. Okay, Welmu, you as well predicted 4-2, and you said it would be a hard fought. You didn't exactly say that you would win, but you seem pretty confident about it. How do you feel after? Do you think there was any keys that pretty much gave you the win there?
Yeah, pretty much like Serral said, that his swarm host play isn't so strong, so I was able to abuse that fact. So I think that helped me a lot.
Yeah, definitely the games with swarm hosts where you had really great just patience and weren't allowing the swarm host to do anything aggressive, since you were definitely splitting the attention there. Well, once again, kind of a familiar spot for you. Finland's champion once again. Congratulations. Keep practicing, because we've got players coming up that are definitely trying to take that crown. So congratulations, and see you at the next tournament. And thank you everyone else for tuning in. That's going to be it for the StarCraft II. It was a fun as always to cast. Thanks everyone who tuned in.